Good morning from Ochiai. Since medieval times, the village of Ochiai has lied in the center of the Higashi-iya Valley, nestled in the slope of the mountains at the union of Iya and Ochiai rivers. Though it is not known when the village was born, its origins are closely tied to one of Japan's oldest fugitive clans, whose legends can still be heard today. The legend extends to the Nambokusho period, in which three descendants of the clan, named Ochihai, Sugeoi, and Nishiyama, joined the army of the south to battle the north. Such a beautiful, beautiful opening. And I'd love to take claim for those words. There's just a sign here that tells you about the village. And I thought, you know what? We've got some information. Why not read it? This morning, we are going to be hiking down through this side, through the Ochiai village, and exploring the area. Good morning. How's everybody doing? I want to start by saying that we are on one of our final days of the 1 million seconds traveling through Japan adventure, which means this is going to be one of our favorite live streams because it just keeps getting better and better and better until the end. Well, it'll be one of my favorites at least. It'll be up to you to determine yours. But I want to give some love to Not Scary Steve for kicking off those super chats, saying sunscreen fund for the few times that it isn't raining. Thank you. It is light out, and the sun will be peeking its head up behind the mountains. We're going to have hopefully a mix of sun and cloud today for our adventure, weatherman mode. And Tim Hempstead in here saying for a morning beverage. Thank you so much, Tim, for getting that super chat ball rolling along with Steve there. It is an absolutely gorgeous morning here, and we are going to explore the area together. So right now it is about 13 degrees out, so it's a little crisp, but it's a very, very beautiful morning. And Kyle be back. Kyle, how are you doing today? Great to see you in here again, saying Ohio Norm. Really enjoyed rewatching yesterday's video this morning while I sip some coffee. Here's to the gas fuel toll fund. A gorgeous view yet again. Thank you so much for that. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And insane kindness right out of La Lemon. Again, I hope I said it right. Said, Ohayou gozaimasu, Norm. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Today, we're actually going to be leaving this area and getting off of this island. And so I wanted to share my favorite place before we do that. And slices of Japan, when we got to do this last adventure together, we really got to know each other. It's great to see you in here again, saying morning, Norm. It's been one hell of a ride with you on this trip. I've thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. Here's some refreshment funds on me. Stay awesome. Thank you. And Buzzin's Pet Rock in here saying, Ohio, looks like a good day for a walk. It is. It's a beautiful day for a walk. And we're going to start by making our way down the mountain, explore a little bit of the village at the base down there, and then who knows what's next. If you haven't already, give that like button some love. If you're new, I would love it if you would subscribe. I'm shivering. I'm shivering just a little because it's a wee bit cold this morning, but it's going to be a very, very good morning. And Sasha in here as well saying, hi Norm, the waterfall was awesome. thank you for showing us. I've got some stories to share with you along the way. If we come around here, we're actually at a viewpoint right now. I've started somewhere official for once rather than just in the mountains. And you'll notice this here. These are some of the Kakashi dolls from the Kakashi no Sato, the Kakashi village, Ayano-san. And I am very excited to announce to you guys that I finally got to go out and meet Ayano-san. That's right, during the pandemic, I made a documentary about Ayano-san's Kakashi no Sato and shared all about the scarecrow dolls that she had made. But because we were at peak pandemic, I didn't have the chance to actually meet her. I was given the chance, but considering we were peak and we still didn't know a lot about it, I didn't want to risk being the person who might be carrying something to wipe out the village. So I called her afterwards and we talked on the phone for a while, and she invited me to come back. And I promised her that I would. And now here we are. I've come back. Yesterday I got to meet her. What was supposed to be a very brief, only taking 15 minutes of her time, ended with her and I spending the entire day together. She is an incredible human being and has invited me out once again. And so this morning we're gonna walk through this beautiful village right here. To everybody joining in right now and saying good morning and saying hello, great to have you in here. With going to the Kakashi no Sato yesterday. You see, this area is actually so deep in the mountains, especially the Kakashi no Sato is so deep in the Japanese mountains that the closest supermarket, you have two options. Either an hour and a half in one direction or 2.5 hours in the other direction. And I only had emergency food prepped yesterday and did not expect to be spending the entire day in this area. And so last night, when I set up the camper van there, I still have not put down the top this morning. Last night, I just came out to this area, slept right here at this kind of rest spot, and snacked on emergency food and all of that. And then today we have as much as 7 hours of driving ahead of us as we leave the island. But we're gonna head right now into this area here. Our little camper van, you know, if one of the mods could link that in the chat for now, I will link it in the description box later on, has become a good friend of ours as we do these adventures. And Eva-chan in here saying, currently waiting for my flight home, so I'll have to catch the rest of this later. Looking forward to the replay. Eva-chan, thank you so much for keeping that super chat ball rolling. You know, it always pushes the next leg of these adventures, and I appreciate it greatly. And so thank you. As we go along here, we can see there are plenty of other villages or homes along this side as well. Let me punch into this just a little bit for you guys. And beautiful homes to boot. Absolutely gorgeous spaces. And the entire thing is a zigzag, switchback, hairpin turn road down the mountain, and we're going to walk the entire thing this morning. Yesterday, as we were getting on the road really early in the morning, we did a 4K walk. And Calvin in here saying, hyped for another live, let's go. Calvin, thank you so much for keeping that super chat ball rolling. As we walk along here the entire time, we get to have this gorgeous view. And I stumbled upon this village entirely by chance a few years back, and I'll share that story in just a brief second. But yesterday I released a 4K walk of us coming down through a mountain, hiking through a mountain, and going past a gorgeous dam through a field and valley of wonderful trees, past a shrine, and then into a gorgeous waterfall. And every single section of that walk just kept changing more and more and more. And while as simple as it is, it was by far one of my favorite little walks on this leg of the adventure so far, just because of each section being so different from the section before. And here we have a whole bamboo grove going up the side of the mountain on this side. And it looks like somebody took out part of this guardrail. See, a lot of these roads in this area are actually fairly tricky. They'll go from wide to narrow to super narrow. And when they go super narrow, that's when you run into issue, because super narrow is, you know, it's fine for a K car or maybe two K cars, tiny little cars. But when you get full-size trucks, which do come through the area, coming through, well, sometimes they just don't fit. And every now and then you'll have little sections like that where it widens up so you can pull over and one of the cars has to back up. And Patricia in here, thank you so much, Patricia, keeping that super chat ball rolling, saying so happy to catch another live on this adventure. I hope you're doing okay. Patricia, I am. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for always being here for these, through these adventures. Every time I stop at a rest area, every time, oh, we got this, a little bit of sun peeking over the mountain there. If I point this high enough up, no, it's not going to break through the clouds just yet. I was hoping to have gorgeous blue skies for this, but I did manage to capture a little bit of this in gorgeous blue sky 4K yesterday as I came through here. And just a reminder that right now, while my voice sounds loud and clear to you guys, I am probably, I can barely read chat because I'm about, I'd say 2 inches from the microphone right now. And most of these homes are filled with, you know, English, older people. Is that the word we're looking for? And so they are up super early in the morning, but I still want to be respectful of the volume of the area. So I am low-key kind of whispering as we walk through here. So if you can't hear me, let me know. But there's also, it should come through really loud and clear for you guys, but I'm not screaming through the area. And can anybody tell me what this is down here? Any guesses? And Kirsten in there in the comment section saying, yep, it is tea. These are tea plants. Everybody's nailing it. Beautiful. This is actually one of the walks on this adventure I've been looking forward to the most. And so the story of how I found this place. A few years ago, I did an adventure called the Unnamed Adventure. And on the Unnamed Adventure, we just kind of got in a car and drove. We had there we go, heading off to his field to work for the morning. We had a whole set of potentials. Actually, you know what? I want to zoom in a little bit on the village. We had a whole set of potentials, but no actual plan. In fact, there's even a house up here above us as well. And we got the little K car just rolling through the mountains down there. And let me get a little closer here for you. So this is the way that these homes are just built up along the side of the mountain like this. It's such a beautiful area. You can understand instantly why this is one of my favorite spots in the entire country. And it's always amazing to me to stop and think that long ago, humans took the time and the effort to build this. Like, people built this, which is incredible. And so on the Unnamed Adventure, I believe it was the Unnamed Adventure 2, all I knew is I wanted to make it to Shikoku. You see, this area, the Iya Valley, tucked into the center of, like, right between Kagawa, Tokushima, and Kochi area in Shikoku, is known as one of Japan's 3 unexplored zones. And while now there are actually quite a few signs up, there's like signs all over the place. For example, Kakashi no Sato or Ochiai Village and stuff like that. All of these are actually incredibly new. When I came through here for the first time, there weren't many signs up. There were a few old wooden signs, a few like street signs up above here and there, but there are there was next to nothing that really pointed out where to go and what the area was, which was amazing to me. And like to see the change between the pandemic and now, how many signs have gone up. There are signs for Ochiai Village, there are signs for the viewpoint, there are signs for Kakashi no Sato, there are signs for all of these little areas. And so it's much easier to get around, and apparently a lot of the locals have pushed to have these signs put up so that people will come out and visit, which is just spectacular that they actually want people to come out and visit. And we got rerouted when we were on our way to the Scarecrow village, and there were a bunch of closed roads at the time, and that reroute put us onto this side of this mountain with a road that was considerably difficult to get through by car at the very end, because our car was not a K, it was a considerably wider car. And look at this, the house and the village in the background. If that doesn't inspire you to give that like button some love and hit subscribe, I don't know what will. And so managed to stumble on this place completely and entirely by accident. And now, if you're anything like me, you may be wondering, well, can people stay there? And the answer is yes. There are places to stay along here so that you can wake up and enjoy this beautiful view, or watch the stars like I did last night as you go to sleep. And I can tell you that this area with the stars is something else. It is a real, true, genuine treat. As you can see the rolling mountains through here. And I also want to give a huge thank you to Cruel Irony in here. Cruel Irony, thank you so much for keeping that super chat ball rolling with that kind super chat, saying always looking forward to the next leg of the journey. Thank you for all you do. You allow me to visit vicariously through your travels. Someday I will see it all myself. Thank you so much. Someday you will see it. I believe it. You're gonna make it happen. And for all of you who can't, I will continue to explore like this. And as we go down this mountain, you'll get to see that this side of the mountain very similarly has the village up along the side. And it is one of the reasons that I love it oh so much is because these villages are like mukiatteru, really losing my English on this travel. I truly am losing my English. Now, there is kind of a fun forest path that we could take. So one more time, Cruel Irony, thank you so much for keeping that super chat ball rolling with that. As you see here, there is a mossy morning path that actually takes us down a fair bit here, down that way. But we lose a lot of our views along the way, as since it's inhabited, it doesn't have the clearing of the trees. So we are going to go through and continue to explore the village along the way. But with the two villages, I guess, just facing each other, is that how, I think that would just be how to say it, facing each other. When, no matter which side you're on, no matter where you're coming from, the views are spectacular. Beyond spectacular. I've run out of words to describe Shikoku and this area. Randall in here with a very kind super chat. Randall, thank you so much for keeping that super chat ball rolling. Each of those pushes us to the next leg of the adventure. And as much as I don't want to leave, this is going to be our final day in Shikoku. Now, it's just slightly creepy. When I was driving down the mountain once yesterday, I caught it in my headlights. And it kind of gave me a little bit of a jump scare. But let me show you what might be the creepiest space in this village. And believe it or not, it is not this abandoned home right here. It is this. Yeah. That is... Imagine driving through here at night. It's dark. You can't really see anything. You've got your headlights up and you see that. The creepy doll head just staring at you as you barrel down the road at terrifying speeds. No, I'm kidding. As you drive down the road. That is the thing that nightmares are made of. Like, literally, nightmares. This is nightmare juice. Especially considering that it does look like the face that Dwight wore in the office. Especially considering that it's right near this abandoned home right here, which has just completely fallen apart. And one more peek at the village from our current vantage point. I love it so much. And J-Cord Mail as well, keeping that super chat ball rolling with a very kind super chat. Thank you so much for that. And why are the eyes on it so real? So everybody just jumping in right now, this is the village of Ochiai in the Iya Valley in Shikoku, Japan. It is, without a doubt, my favorite village in the entire country of Japan. And it's got these two beautiful sets of villages and homes running up the side of the mountain. And we are going to explore this entire area today as we walk down the mountain from one village to another. My big concern in doing this stream from the side of a mountain tucked deep into the valley of the Iya, like the English norm, English, tucked deep into the Iya Valley, was that we wouldn't have any signal whatsoever. But when I took a bit of a drive through yesterday, We actually had okay signal at almost every single part of this. So if the signal dips and we get a little potatoey, please let me know immediately and I will zip on out to the next section. How are things looking and sounding so far? Yeah, I was originally just going to record this entire one as a 4K walk, and there will be cars because it would be one heck of a challenge to actually walk up this mountain every single day. From this point, the majority of the people living out here are going to be elderly individuals, and this whole area and valley village, if you will, is very difficult to access from like the nearest actual town. So the other day we did a walk through the town of Ikeda, and Ikeda is going to be the most nearby actual town or village that you would be able to, for example, when the elderly people need to go to the hospital if something happens, or they need to have regular checkups, or they're in the midst of dealing with something health-wise, Ikeda is going to be their closest town, and that's going to be about an hour, depending on your driving speed, it could be an hour and 15 from this area. And your closest supermarket is also going to be out there. And so yesterday when I was speaking to Ayano-san, who made the scarecrow dolls for the Scarecrow Village, she highlighted that about 3 to 4 times a week she would drive out to Ikeda and back, round trip from Naguro. That is 3 hours. She'll drive 3 hours round trip just to go out and get food, do hospital visits, all of that. And it is amazing to think that, my grandparents lived out in the countryside as well, but they were still about 30-40 minutes from the nearest town where they'd be able to get supplies, and there was kind of a small local shop. But you don't have that small local shop here. In fact, nothing nearby. As I said last night, there was nowhere to even grab food, so I survived on Calorie Mate and peanuts, and it was a wonderful dinner. Because Calorie Mate and peanuts in an area like this is so much better than, I was gonna say caviar, but I don't think anybody actually likes caviar. I was just trying to think like the fanciest food. So much better than lobster, and I have no idea anywhere else. That I just wanted to say something. I just wanted to be fancy for a second and say, Calorie Mate and peanuts in an area like this is better than the best of foods almost anywhere else. That probably would have been better. That's what we were going for. So let's just pretend that I said that from the beginning, and then we'll be good. Everything will be fine. And Valentine saying hello to my birthday twin. Ooh, we're birthday twins. Thank you so much for taking us along with you on your adventures. Always looking toward your awesome walks and exploring. Thank you so much for that kind super chat, dear birthday twin. These adventures are for you guys. These adventures are for us to enjoy. This entire channel, TOKYOLENS Explorer, started during the pandemic as a way to bring people into Japan during a time when people couldn't get into Japan. And it's turned into something so much more since then. And we are able to go out and do walks like this, explore, do adventures, and in hopefully just a few short weeks, this channel as well, with your guys' help, will cross over 100,000 subscribers. And it's unbelievable to think that something that we just started to do a couple walks in the pandemic has gathered this much of a community, and I've gotten to meet so many new amazing people through this. So really the thanks goes to you, to each and every one of you who have joined for each of these adventures. I have nothing but gratitude and love for you. I'm actually very excited to get down into the town because I've only ever gone through this town, the village, the base part, in the daylight by car very quickly, and just tucked right into the foliage. It's just beautiful. We've got a switchback coming up here, a hairpin turn. So there's a question in here, and it's a great one that I'd love to answer, saying, how far is Shikoku from Ehime and how long is the travel? So, Ehime is part of Shikoku. This is the island of Shikoku, which is by far the single best place in all of Japan to explore. You could spend an entire Japan trip of 3 weeks here exploring every area, every single day, finding places this beautiful or more beautiful, and still not like have enough left over when you're done. You'd never run out. You would never run out. This is probably, between YouTube and personal, my 50th visit to the island of Shikoku, and I have never run out of new things to explore and things to do and see in the area. And so the area, this here, the village of Ochiai, from Ehime, where we were the other day with our bridge walk with Sherry, who, by the way, I've got an update on Sherry for you guys in just a minute. That area is anywhere between, like, getting out to this side of Shikoku will maybe only take you about 2 hours, 2.5. But then getting into the mountains here will take you maybe another hour, hour and a half. It also depends on how comfortable you are driving the mountain roads, but it's not that far from where we were the other day as we were doing our Ehime adventure with Sherry. And right before I give the update here, Sean T. Just wanted to take a peek at it. Sean T. saying, hello, Hakone or Nico for a 2 to 3 day ryokan / nature trip outside of Tokyo for our May 25 trip. Nico, if Nico, would you recommend the Edo Wonderland Park? So, you can't go wrong with either, but if I had to give you an answer based on your transportation situation, I think would be the best way. If you're going to be going by train, go to Hakone. 100%, without a doubt, go to Hakone. It is a lot easier to access everything by train, and things are a lot closer together as well. Because of its proximity to Tokyo, it's a lot more dense in terms of what is there, and you will not be disappointed. Anybody in the chat who has been to Hakone will tell you that they love Hakone. I don't think I've done much in terms of YouTube in Hakone, but I have done some amazing personal trips and have some incredible memories in Hakone. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 would recommend. Now, if you're going to be going by car, 100% head towards Nikko. because the area is a lot wider, a lot more open, and there's a lot of stuff that you'll be able to reach and appreciate more with a car. And this little pathway here, I believe that leads to that house that's tucked into the forest. It makes me wonder if that one is, if there's anybody in there, or if it's been abandoned. And so as we head down this way, Nikko is spectacular. If you have access to a car, I definitely recommend you could be, do you recommend A, B, C, D? They're all gonna be yeses. They are all gonna be yeses. But Nikko is wide and open and has a huge, like if you do go to Nikko and you have a car, get into the mountains. Get into the mountains of Nikko. Also look at OTI Village there, just looking beautiful for us. So we're gonna switch up the road that we're taking, because this road here goes all the way out of the village. And this road here is just a lot more fun and gets more and more and more fun right up to the very last second. So there is kind of a post office down here, and I'm gonna try to get to that before we see if we can't get up some of the other side. But I got rerouted to this road 3 years ago, something like that. And the last little section of it had me a little nervous because I had a pretty standard sized car at the time. And so I want to show you guys this road as we go along. Do me a favor, as we get deeper into the valley, keep an eye on the signal for me. Let me know how things go. And Tom in here, the very kind super chat, keeping that super chat ball rolling. Tom, thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. And also question, how to reach here from Ikeda. If possible, I want to visit there. Well, your best bet is always going to be to get a car if you can, especially exploring this area. But there are also buses and whatnot that can bring you out here. A little research, a little Googling. I've never taken the buses out here, so I wouldn't be able to give you the best, most up-to-date information. But considering I see them whipping through the mountains all the time, I can assure you they exist, and I'm sure they are lovely. As well as Barbara right in here with a very kind super chat saying a tangible thank you for our daily dose of green therapy. Sorry it's in Canadian dollars. That is okay. That is okay. I have, being a Canadian myself, I know the struggles. And good wishes from Canada's Pacific Coast. Thank you so much for that. I also, just a quick reminder that since we all know that Google takes half of all these super chats, if you're looking to get a little more involved and, have your super chat pushed towards something that's a little more community based, come and hang out on Patreon. There's a ton of hidden and secret videos out there, including actually a drive of this entire road. Like if you want to see the drive of this entire road, there's a video of that on Patreon, because the first time I did it, I thought I might die. I had no idea what to expect, because you can't tell here, but it's very, very steep. And we've also got the Discord and a beautiful community of like-minded people on there. So thank you so much for that kind super chat. And as we make our way down here towards the valley and the other side of OTI Village, I find myself really wishing that the camera would show just a little bit more of how steep these are. But during these breaks, as I drive from place to place, today's going to be a long driving day. Today's going to be anywhere from 6.5 to 8.5 hours on the road for us to get to our next location. And our next location, while it won't be up on a mountain like this, should be spectacular. But when I stop for my Michinoeki breaks or the odd bite for food here and there, I will often sit down and catch up on comments that you guys have left on all the videos from this adventure. I have read every comment that has come in so far, so whether you're watching live or whether you're catching it afterwards, please do me the favor of leaving a comment on the video once it goes live. Also, Nether Yam, welcome to the Patreon side of things. Just got a notification, excited to have you here. There we go. And Tom in here saying with a beautiful morning super chat. Thank you so much. We started pretty high up and we've made our way down here. And Sherry is actually in the chat. I told you guys that I would share a bit of an announcement about Sherry. And if you guys have followed along with her adventure, you will already know this. But today is the day, everybody. Today's the day. Today's the day that Sherry is moving from Shikoku, from this beautiful island of Shikoku, to Tokyo for that next segment of her life. It is an exciting day. Sherry, it's great to have you in the chat here. I know it's a little preemptive, but congratulations on the move. We're all very proud and excited. Sherry planned on moving out years ago, and the pandemic pinned her to her business in survival mode so that she could try to just you know, keep it alive. And she has kept it alive. She has helped it thrive. And I know those things rhyme and it feels like we're doing a Dr. Seuss segment, but she's now able to move her way out to Tokyo. So congratulations, Sherry. And Sherry, I want to give a big thank you, I guess, from everybody. You see, Sherry was among the handful of people that pushed me to get started on YouTube to begin with. So none of these walks, including today's walk. And also, Tony, I just got a notification. Welcome to the Patreon side of things. Excited to have you. I just saw a little K truck driving through the mountains here. And I want to see if we cannot find him, pin him down. I'm gonna guess he'll probably be coming around one of the switchbacks around here. I just like spotting the little K trucks driving through the mountains. It's like train spotting, but it's K spotting. And I lost him, guys. He's disappeared. There might be mountain paths that go deeper that I don't know about. There almost certainly are. I feel like we'll have to head out that way and do a bit of exploring. So none of this, including today's walk, none of it would exist if Sherry and people like her hadn't pushed me to start all of this. If you're just joining in now, we're walking what is most certainly the most beautiful village in all of Japan, Ochiai Village. And it would mean the world to me if you'd give that subscribe button some love, as well as the like button. I'm waiting for the zombie pop-up scare. And as we walk down this way, so again, congrats, Sherry. And Saint Question in here with a super chat saying, love the channel. Watching makes me miss Japan so much. I was there for 2 years from 2005 to 2007 when I was in the Air Force. Thanks for exploring. Thank you so much for that kind comment and keeping the super chat ball rolling. Really appreciate that. And that was a great time to be in Japan as well. That 2005 to 2007 era was just a completely different vibe from what we have here. So, and Inglorious Dane, how's it going, Inglorious Dane? Good to see you again. Saying, people donate for coffee, food, and umbrellas. I donate for a little for a taxi back to your camper van. Thank you for all the live vlogs. Thank you so much for that. I actually don't mind the hiking. You know, every now and then I'll do these walks as a loop, but more often than not, I just want to go somewhere. I just want to take a walk that takes us from point A to point B. And yes, it's not uncommon for me then to need to make it all the way back to the camper van. And I'm glad that someone kind of picked up on that and noticed. Yep, it's a long morning walk for me after the long morning walk. The other day, I actually managed to do a live stream as well as 3 other videos for you guys, all within the same day. But 2 of those videos required me to climb a mountain. One of those mountains was incredibly steep. And by the end of the day, I knew I had done, so on my Apple Watch, I think I'd closed my exercise ring, which is supposed to be like an hour a day. I think I'd closed my exercise ring like 5 times over. And my move ring, which is had gone around so many, I couldn't even keep up with it anymore. And, you know, it's gotten easier and easier to do all of this. Especially when we've been doing it now for almost 10 days straight. And Tom just got the notification. Welcome to the Patreon side of things. To anybody who is joining in on that side of things, please check the backlog of videos. There's somewhere between 70 and 100 videos on that channel that have never been released anywhere else on YouTube, and including what it's like to drive through this little road right here. So how many, again, we've got another kind of overgrown path that would take us down to the river there, but we're not gonna make it through that, so we will continue down the road here. How many miles are you getting in per day? I wonder if I'm gonna be able to check this while I don't think I can check yesterday's stats. I'm gonna try to do this without dropping the gimbal. And weekly summary. I think there's a weekly summary in here I can share a bit of. Daily average. Oh, it's not going to give me my daily average? Wow. Okay. I've got mine set to kilometers, and it turned out that the other day I walked something like 32 kilometers. I don't know how many miles that is, but it was basically an entire day of walking. I don't think I did a few like quick drives from here to there, but otherwise the entire day I was walking. And for those who have just stumbled upon this, this is day 9 of, look at the road we're going on here. This is the start of day 9 of 1 million seconds traveling through Japan. Okay, so about almost 20 miles. It's a few miles. I feel like somebody keeps their truck here usually. It's still pretty clear, so I'm gonna guess that somebody up here who hasn't cleared out their house or whatever for parking may use that. And Tom's super chats should have had text. I screenshotted them and put them in the Patreon Discord so you can read that for later. Not scary, Steve. That is an insanely wonderful thing for you to do for another community member. And this is why I love that community so much. Thank you so much for your kindness. You know, over the years, I've had a lot of people actually get to know each other through these like just, you know, just put out some videos and do some live walks and stuff like that. And every now and then I had a group of people from Canada who were all like in the Patreon Discord, and they all did like just a meetup without me. They all got together. And as well as in the UK, a group of people who were all, you know, I don't want to be like TOKYOLENSers, what a dumb name. I guess avid, passionate viewers with shared interests got together and did a bit of a pub night and sent me photos and whatnot. And I'd say lately about once to twice a year, I will get a random DM and photos from a group of people who have just managed to meet and connect through the channel. And that means the world to me. I'm glad that we're able to bring people together that way. So thank you so much. And Not Scary Steve, thank you for sharing that, as well as James in here with a spectacularly kind super chat, keeping that super chat ball rolling, saying thank you for taking us with you. Thank you for coming along. Now these ones aren't quite Kakashi, but we got some scarecrows here. And last night I came up this road and these scarecrows did their job. They scared the bejeebus out of me. I had a jump scare. See, they don't scare him. Like, does he know we're talking? I know crows are smart, but come on. Does he know the word crow? And he just recognizes that we're, wow, just incredible. So the adventure that we're doing right now, and Vivian as well. Vivian, I just got the notification. Welcome to the Patreon side of the adventure. On top of the insane number of videos that there is in a backlog, I also have a podcast on there as well. The rest of the podcast is continued with a bunch of unheard episodes on there. So again, please enjoy, as well as the secret Instagram where we do Patreon only streams every now and then. But as we get into this thicker area here, do me a favor, keep an eye on the signal. I'm doing so good with English this morning, guys. It's like I'm a native speaker who's just so good at it. I love it. And Dennis in here. Dennis keeping that super chat ball rolling, saying, so sad that the adventure ends. We'll miss it. Loved the abandoned school with the tunnel the most. Good luck to Sherry with her move. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for utilizing that kind super chat to also give some love to others as well. Crows actually named after the noise that they make. Interesting. And so from here, when you're driving a car, it suddenly gets pretty interesting. I actually should have turned around and showed you guys, but a lot of these, again, they're pretty steep. And oh boy, can they be challenging to get up or down with a car, especially at night when you can't see the full scope of the turn. As you can hear, there's a river down here, and the crow is following us. He has moved to a nearby tree. He's following us. He's become the secondary character of this video. And see, he's moving to another tree up there. He is literally following along everywhere we go. We should wave to him. Hi. Like, each spot we go, he just changes and follows along. I wish I had some food or something for him. We have a crow friend. Dudley Crow. And so, Crow Diddley. We're going to walk across here, and you'll see why the very first time that I ever came through here on a normal car, I was like, oh God, if I made a mistake, I cannot back up. There's nowhere to turn around. And this is it. This is the whole, and like, it's really difficult to tell on here, but I can almost spread my legs. Okay, I can't spread my legs that much. I'm not that flexible anymore, but I can almost, if I was more flexible, I'd be able to touch both sides of this bridge with my legs. And that, and yeah, this is meant to fit a car. I got redirected through here once, and this was unfortunate, but I've got actually now, oh, the water is gorgeous today, guys. Okay, distracted Norm, just showing some water. wonderful space. And right now we're right at the base of that OTI village. And see, there's our crow friend. He just wants to make sure he has me in view every second along the way. And so this can beautifully fit a K car. I can zip over this thing back and forth, no problem. Probably turn around at the end. But when I came through here in a normal car, it was, well, as I said, I felt like I made a mistake. And there, oh. The crow is my security guard. He's keeping us safe. And Ninja Monkey saying that you bumped into me once but didn't say hi. Oh no. Feels like a waste. Okay, so this is not the crazy part though. You think this is the crazy part, but the crazy part is the road that follows this. So do me a favor, give that like button some love as we head to the road that follows this, because this road, I don't think there's any way for me to really truly show this on camera. But let's see if we can't get to, I don't know, 600 likes in the next 2 minutes. Just go nuts. Let's call it a like button challenge. And yes, it does get crazier than this. I'm hoping that in some way that the camera will pick it up, because this here, yeah, it doesn't pick it up. This road goes almost like 45-degree angle at the end. So this is the confusing thing about this. Just punching in help. That kind of helps. That gives you a little more, maybe, of a sense of how steep it is. But this gets very, very steep right at the end. So the confusing thing about this road is it comes off of this bridge, which you would think is built for a K-sized vehicle. However, a K-sized vehicle with 1 to 2 people in it, no problem. A fully loaded K-sized vehicle will struggle and likely lock up or stall trying to get up that hill. So you would probably have to stop here, have all your friends get out of the car, and then go up. Sherry is likely getting ready for her move and is probably no longer in the chat with us at the moment. But if she is, she'll be able to tell you that we had her, myself, and the 2 Shamisen girls, Kiki, in a really simple K car many, many years ago in Ehime. And we came across a road like this, but amazingly slightly narrower. And when I say slightly narrower, I don't mean a lot. Oh, Sherry's still here. It was like this, but if you just shave off the moss section on the edge here. And we almost didn't make it up the hill because 4 of us in the car was too much for the car's little engine to handle. Oh. And again, unfortunately, like, it really, what if I get lower? Is it gonna, no, you can't tell at all. What if I get higher? I have shown this road to several friends in video. And they're like, oh yeah, that looks pretty steep. Yeah, that's pretty steep. And then you actually bring them out here. And they're like, oh my God, when you get to this section, you are essentially laying down in your seat like an astronaut looking up at the end. And this should give you an idea. Like this here, and it gets steeper from here up to here. But that gives you an idea of our gradient. That's got to be 38 to 40 degrees right there. That is quite a steep gradient. If anybody has a protractor with them and wants to measure that for me, I'll get right even with it there. There you go. And as we get close to the end, I'd say from this section it really picks up. So this little end section here is incredibly steep. Wow. And this kind of gives you an idea, but it is, yes, cheese wedge angle. And there we are. We've climbed down this side of the mountain right here into Ochiai, into the valley. And you'll instantly see not just the views, but why I love this area so much. Take a look at this here. Let's walk just a touch of this mountain road so you guys can get a feel for what it's like to be out here before I drive into drive. Yes, I'm gonna use my legs and drive until we walk into the village a little bit. And yes, this video, this is live. This is not a premiere. So you and I can chat and say hello. And a comment in here saying it reminds me of some of the Italian roads around my neighborhood. I will say outside of Japan, Italy is the next nicest place that I've had the opportunity to be in a car. I went to Italy some 3 or 4 times to bring shamisen players out there. And we're gonna get off to the side here as it gets a little narrow. We've got a K truck coming through. So some spots of this, as you can see, he would not be able to squeeze another car. So there are wider areas like this where one car, and every now and then, the other day when we were in Ikeda, I talked about my friend Ayaka, and Ayaka would do these amazing things where she would bring her wheels, like there'd be transport trucks coming through on a road like this, and she would have a normal sized car, and she would literally bring her wheels up onto this little like curved edge here, and the car would be on an angle, and then she'd fold her mirrors in, and the transport truck would just right by. And some drivers get really, really good at that stuff, but they also do try to make little inlets here and there where you can pull your car over or back up into so that people can get by. But during this trip, probably about less than 30, more than 20, I have had times where I've come face to face with another car and one of us has had to back up. And Slices of Japan in here, keeping that super chat ball rolling. Slices of Japan, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. I've also been just really enjoying getting to know you over the past couple of years. Woo! And so thank you so much for that. As well as Worm in here saying, love you, Normie. Thanks for the chill walk. Thank you, Wormy. Wormy and Normie. Walking through the mountains of Japan early in the morning. And for more mountain roads, would you recommend renting a K or a small sedan? A K car is just fun. Like if you don't mind the sound of the engine, the lack of power, and the fact that you can't put more than 4 people in it, a K car is just an absolute blast. Like I've driven Japan and everything from giant vans to Nissan GTR to tiny little K cars to the cheapest car in Japan. You know, I should have started a car review channel years ago. Considering that like every month or two, I am using a different car here in Japan, and I have really run the gamut along the way. There was probably a missed opportunity in there. But even at the base here, as you can see, walking along the side of the road, there are people in this village. And again, it feels like that property down there is most certainly abandoned at this point. Let's go check out the village section of Ochiai itself. There was also a question in here about motorbikes. And motorbikes, you know, if you enjoy it, enjoy it. But they say it's not about if you get in an accident on a motorbike, it's about when. And I used to drive a small motorbike through Japan, and I always told myself that I 100% would keep going until I got in an accident. No matter how minor, if I got in an accident, I would get rid of the bike. And a couple years back, a taxi, I guess the customer said, "Oh, please stop here." And the taxi suddenly changed lanes, pulled right in front of me, and slammed on the brakes. I guess not realizing that bikes take a considerable more, they have a longer stopping distance. And when the taxi slammed right, I was like, I can't ram into the back of a taxi. And so I went to go to the side, and just as I did that, I thought there would be enough space, but the taxi didn't pull all the way over. The taxi kind of stopped almost in the middle of the road. And so I had to get close to the other line, but in this lane here, another car came whipping behind. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get hit by a car. And so I wiggled out and tried to go in, and the bike just slid out. I was fine. The entire forefront of one of my thumbs was just stripped. And the next day I was shooting the March 11th 10-year documentary. So I shot that entire documentary in severe pain. It hurts to have all the skin from your thumb removed. I'm not gonna lie. It was a painful experience. And I, shortly after that, it took me a while. I think it took me over a year after that to actually get rid of the bike. Like, I had done so much work on it and so much customization to it that I didn't want to get rid of it. And so I held it onto it for a year. But in that year, I think I only got on it to bop around town maybe once or twice, and was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. In fact, Sherry used to drive a motorbike, a scooter, through Matsuyama, her hometown here in Shikoku. And shortly after I met Sherry, she got hit by a car. And she got hit by a car because, well, I don't know about your country, but in Japan, people really don't treat stop signs and red lights with the respect that they should. They're more of a suggestion. The number of times I have watched a car in Japan just fly through a stop sign or casual roll through a stop sign like it ain't no thing. Or, I feel like there's this secret rule in Japan where if a stoplight has been red for less than 3 seconds, you can still go through it. I've watched it countless times. And at one point I thought, I'm going to make an entire video on this. I'm just going to make a video of cars going through red lights. And the worst thing is, in the past year, I've watched at least 2 cars do it in front of police officers. There's a police officer on the other side that just watches the car whip through the red and absolutely nothing. Because in Japan, unless they are on a money-making safety campaign thing, police won't do anything. The only time that a police will go after you or ticket you is if they're on some kind of campaign, if they can make some kind of money off of it, or if there's been something and they need to look like they're showing action. And so if you're on a bicycle and the area you're in has had a lot of bicycle thefts lately, they'll likely stop you and they'll check your bicycle because it makes it look like they're taking action. And then their home base is oh, okay, this officer is working hard today. Or if they've got their ticket quota, they'll give you a ticket for the smallest of things. But if they're not in one of those campaigns and they're just driving through the city, keeping an eye on things, then yeah, they're not going to do anything. The amount of speeding and red light mismanagement in Japan is borderline terrifying. And so Sherry got hit by a car. And then, not too long after, Sherry on her bike got hit by another car. おはようございます。綺麗な朝ですね。
寒いでしょ。
ちょっと寒いです。もう涼しいっていう感じで。And I would say a little while after that, within a year, Sherry was right near home one day when she got hit by her third car. Why? Because stop signs are a mere suggestion. And it was at this point that Sherry was like, okay, I can no longer justify riding a bike. Not to mention all the stuff that I have to carry because Sherry's got a whole business that she's running. Also, vending machine time here, mountain vending machine. We have all of the coffees you could ever want. Do I have any coins right now? I don't know if I'm carrying any coins. It'd be nice if I was, because a vending machine would be just top drawer at the moment. And then almost completely sold out Japanese cigarette vending machine. But I also don't want to have to carry the can with us everywhere we go. You know what? Norm, just suck it up. Just carry the can. Let's grab ourselves a morning. I have no idea. This one says it's koi. Strong. So we'll grab that. There we are. And I see a super chat in there from John Manning saying, just 2 weeks to my photography trip to Tokyo and Osaka. Love to you, Norm, as always. John, thank you so much for that. I look forward to hopefully seeing you on that trip if I am in the country. And this is such a sweet little village, just the base of this here. I get something for Crow Bro, yeah. There's just a very, very classic, and it's morning now, so the cars are just popping through. And if you look at the faces of the drivers of almost every car as it passes through, it's nothing but smiles. Everybody's smiling and waving, and we have a tiny little itty bitty police car over here, so let's go check that out. Also, look at this building. This is the coffee that I got this morning, not sponsored. And we've got the beautiful river down there, K-truck zinging through the mountains, and our tiny little itty bitty police car for the local police box. There he is. These mountain village vibes in Japan are really their own thing. And yes, there would still be warm drinks being sold in the vending machine. Especially as this morning is a little cold right now. I'm most certainly underdressed for the temperature this morning. It is, when I woke up, it was something like 11 degrees Celsius. Don't know how many Fahrenheits that is, but it is certainly not just sweater weather. I just have a hoodie on. And so it's been a little chilly, but the walk is keeping us warm. With the amount of green, these beautiful mountain villages. There's a comment in here saying it must be nice working as an officer in a village like this. And you know what? I think you would be right. I would assume that you'd be responsible for a fairly large area, and anything you need to respond to would probably be kind of sad, stressful and take quite a bit of driving, but let's punch in here a little. And Don M saying, I love riding bikes in Japan, but man, had a close call when cycling the Shimanami Kaido. Tight squeezes going through traffic in Kyoto. Yeah. It can get pretty crowded, especially in areas like that. And again, these kind of things always just blow my mind. Like this, at some point, was just somebody's little base for parking. Like just this little ledge with a few poles under it. It's like, okay, this is a suitable parking space. It clearly did not stand the test of time and has since been roped off. But again, I've only ever come through this area here by car. And I've never had the chance to actually walk the village myself. And Chris in here. Thank you so much, Chris. Chris with a very kind super chat saying, thanks for showing us all these off the beat locations and making our itineraries so much tougher to plan. You spoil us. We all appreciate you. Chris, thank you so much for always being here for it. If I can just take a moment to get personal, said, oh, we got a cyclist. I will get personal with you in a second. I want to punch into this. Look at him. I love it. It's just got those early morning vibes. Just spectacular. Just enjoying the mountains. Ohayou gozaimasu. Oh, likely, probably like heading off to school or a school event or something. His age cut in half as he got close to us. So Chris, allow me to say, since you have joined, and this can actually go for a lot of people, but since you have joined the channel and jumped into the chat and jumped into the comments and all the other sides of things, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to know you along the way. And I genuinely really appreciate every single time that you come by and everything. You always look at it from your own unique angle. And while this super chat was just a simple thank you, you've been here through so much of the content that while I've never seen your face and while we've never met in person, I feel like I've gotten to know you over the past, what, 3? Is it 3 years now? I feel like it's got to be 2 at least of us chatting back and forth through these. So a huge thank you. And again, these words can go for so many of you. I literally recognize by name at this point and always appreciate having you in here. So thank you always. It's why I say leave me comments at the end, because every break I take along the way. Oh wait, we weren't on wide? Now we're on wide. I was like, why can't I see this building? And I would go up those stairs, but I don't know if it's abandoned, so especially considering like there's a car right there. Thought those were giant tires for a second. They are not. And I hear voices. Like not in my head, like in the town. Oh, okay, you got a little soba shop. This is the one. Okay. Next place should be Osaki Shimozima Island, or one of the islands over there. We did a beautiful island the other day. I kind of want to go up that side a little now. We did a beautiful island the other day. Don't know if we're gonna have time to do any more islands on this adventure, but I actually would like you to, in the comment section, especially after the video goes live, leave me where you would like to see next. Somewhere between here in Tokyo, because we've only got a couple days left. And we're gonna have to start making our way back. But also, we've got some signs here. We've got Mount Tsurugi, Oku Iya, Niju, Kazurabashi, Yashino Onsenkyo. Oh, Yashino Onsen. Yeah. And Okuya monorail. If you guys ever come out here, Google that. Google it right now. Google the Okuya monorail. I don't even care if anybody else comes out and makes content about it. It's absolutely incredible. Like, it is just such a special little experience. It is closed right now, and I'm hoping it'll open again. Kakashi no Sato, absolutely spectacular. And then we've got a bit of a map over here. And awesome, just 100. Just got the notification. Welcome to the Patreon squad. Super excited to have you in there. And I also see ZX48 saying, Norm, please use this to get some change. Luckily, since we're out in the countryside, I needed to pay for something in cash yesterday. And that cash payment led to me having exactly 200 yen in my pocket. And I feel like we've got to go up this side, no? So thank you so much, CX48, for that kind super chat. Absolutely love and appreciate you for it. And Erika in here saying, I love your videos. The abandoned mountain school and Kyoto monastery are my favorites. It'd be difficult to disagree. I really enjoy those as well. Thank you so much for keeping that super chat ball rolling. We're gonna head up this way a little bit just because I feel like we have to. Like, we came from the other side of the mountain. We've got to check out at least a little bit of this side. No? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go for it, guys. So Erica, thank you so much for that. Another wonderful super chat in here from Just Mike. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. As well as Chris Lessard in here. Get Chris, you're spoiling me. Stop. Saying, thank you for those kind words. We did meet last June. Oh my God. Okay, now I feel like a dill hole. Probably because I am. Yes, we did. We did. It was a bit of drama. Yep. Of would we or wouldn't we? Yes, it was. It absolutely was. I don't know why I didn't pinpoint that. And I feel like an absolute fool. But that is part of the human experience, isn't it? Making mistakes, embarrassing ourselves incredibly publicly, and having these little moments. Thank you so much for that. And yes. And we've just got this little landing point here that is distracting us from that embarrassing moment. Looking, okay, actually, I moved my head along with that, and I got dizzy for a second, and it got a little dangerous. So we're gonna balance that out. And Wrathstruck saying, big love from Vancouver. Thank you. Your previous car adventure inspired my last trip to Japan, and we drove around all of Kyushu. Ooh. Now I can only tour Japan with a car in the countryside. It's honestly the only way to go. It really is. If you have the ability to do it, I can't recommend it enough. Once you've had the experience, it's very, very hard to go back. Japan has some of the most spectacular trains in the entire world. They're all wonderful. But once you have a chance to get off that train path, off the beaten path, you unlock a version of Japan that you didn't know really existed. And it's not just the locations, and it's not just the views and the visuals. It is the smells, like the smells in each area, and just the experience of the people when you come out to the area. So I'm just kind of loving this scene right here. When you come out to these areas that don't have the train access and don't get the regular tourists, the people that you meet are more than just, what country are you from? Nihongo jouzu desu ne. You will get those things, guaranteed. But you also get these deep questions about where have your travels taken you? Where are you going next? What has been like your biggest struggle while you've been here? How did you find this place? What do you think of our village? Would you like to come to my house for tea? These are all real things. So I want to tell you guys something absolutely amazing as we take a look at that roof. So I want to tell you guys a beautiful and wonderful story of meeting Ayano from the Scarecrow village. Ayano-san built hundreds and hundreds of Kakashi scarecrows over the years for her village. Her village is about 20 minutes down the road from here, and the village itself is so tiny that if you blink, you will miss it. We're gonna step off to the side and let this K truck come through. Got a nice smile and greeting from him as well. When I got her on the phone years ago and promised that I would share the documentary with her and that I would come back, she said, please make sure that you do so. Please make sure that you make it back here. And so we did. And yesterday, when I rocked up, she was speaking to a whole crowd of visitors. And she said, oh, I've got an interview later on today. And I was like, yeah, no problem, no rush. And then she just walked up to me and she said, let's take a walk together. And so that's exactly what we did. We took a walk through the village. She shared a whole bunch of stuff with me. I said my thank yous and I went to get on my way. Didn't want to take too much of her time. She stopped to speak to every single person who came through the village. Not only is she making all of these scarecrow dolls, but she's having these beautiful conversations and greeting all these guests. And it's this amazing, amazing thing. And then, as she finished up, we got a hokikyo. I'm gonna continue that in 1 to 2 minutes. I just wanted to show you guys this view right here. This, as well as this, is the little switchback area where we were. I love the sound of that bird. Absolutely love it. Thank you for existing. And then, in between every visitor and guest, Ayano-san would come up and just have a bit more of a chat with me. And as we got to know each other and enjoyed each other's company through the day, she then headed home for the day. And as I was out shooting the village, she said, listen, it's really hot out today, and brought me a drink. We stood at the side of the road, we had a bit of a chat, enjoyed our ocha together, and then as I headed down to the other end of the village, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes later, she came out with a tray of somen, 2 bowls, and she said, won't you share a meal with me? My heart ripped in half in the most wonderful of ways. And I said, absolutely I will. Not only was I famished because there was nowhere nearby to grab food, but I've been mid-shoot all day trying to capture more and more of her story. And so we sat down and shared a wonderful bowl of somen noodles together. And this was a very special local type of somen that I've actually never seen before. And she shared the history of the town that it's from and how it's made, a little more of her own personal history. We got to know each other. We talked about life and shamisen and challenges and real human conversation between 2 people. It wasn't just, oh, what country are you from? It was 2 people connecting, sharing stories, getting to know each other. And it was an amazing day. Before I knew it, the sun had gone down. And what was meant to be a half-hour to 1 hour stop off in Nagoro as we headed here became an entire day of my life dedicated to getting to know and connecting with this incredible woman. And I honestly cannot wait to come back. So that kind of gives you a peek at what you can experience out in these areas. And I would be lying if I told you that's the only experience that I've had like that with a local out here. And you can see the side that we started on over there. And as well as, I just want to give some love for all the super chats that are coming into. Buzzin's Pet Rock saying it's 12:30 a.m. here. I'm still working. Wow. Your stream is keeping me sane. Loving the distraction. Thank you so much. Always. You've been here for every single one of these adventures so far, unless I've missed anything, and I appreciate you for it. All techno guy for life. How's it going? How have you been? How is life going for you? Saying, I love your videos. I accidentally made a fan from one of my friends when I loaded one of your videos on my TV. We watched your videos for 2 hours non-stop. Wow. Oh, thank you. That isn't, wow. My favorite playlist is the road trip adventures and the documentaries. The documentaries are really like the heart of what I love doing at the channel, but they take a long time to put together. The editing and the way I put together the stories, and more often than not, just finding music will be a full day or two. And so thank you so much for that. Sophia in here. How long does it take for you to be able to have a conversation in Japanese, Norm? I remember that Scarecrow Village. Love that video. I've got a little bit of like my history of how I learned Japanese. I did a video with my good buddy Dogen a few years back. Look at this house here. I did a video with my good buddy Dogen a few years back where we talked about how to drastically improve your Japanese skill. And in that video, I talked about how when I was in university, when I was in college, I spent the vast amount of my time with Japanese students, and we spoke Japanese at home basically every single day. So I cannot get past just how beautiful this shot is right here. Like, just this house and the rocks that have it lifted on the platform. Again, like, humans built this. Humans built this a very long time ago. This is not a recently built village. All of this along the house, all of this along the hills. When you stop and look at this and think about the fact that oh no, I turned off the gimbal. I was trying to be sneaky. Don't stop, Norm, stop. I was trying to be sneaky and get a backup shot with my camera in 4K just because I love this view so much. And as I realized that I didn't have a battery in the camera and went to pull out my battery pack, I turned off the gimbal because I'm a professional at what I do and I'm very good at it. And these are the things that happen when you're very, very good at things. So there we go. I think we are well balanced. Boom, boom, and boom. Okay, I think we got it. No, why are you time-lapsing? Don't time-lapse. And so for me to be able to reach the level of Japanese skill I'm at now, I would say would have been, I don't know. I didn't study, which is like the challenge. I just kind of picked up Japanese by using it. I was graced with a good number of situations where I needed to use Japanese. And so I had it was all just kind of situational for me. And in these different situations along the way, I picked up different types of Japanese. So for example, until starting Shamisen, I did not have the ability to talk about music in Japanese at all. But after about a year of regularly using Japanese to talk about shamisen stuff, looking up words along the way, reading different like manga and stuff in Japanese to improve my skills, like all these little things, I just tried to absorb that. Kind of same for car stuff. Car stuff is one of the only times that I've ever actually utilized an anime to learn, because there's this anime called Initial D, where it's just all about cars and drifting and whatnot. And when I met a good friend, a neighbor who was a drifter, look at this valley. I wanted to get into that world, but I needed to be able to speak the language. And so I spent a lot of time absorbing through watching Initial D and picked up on that side. So every situation I've been in is just given, and doing these documentaries as well. When I started interviewing people on the channel, I was asking questions in really like weird roundabout ways. And as I've gotten better at it, I found, these words strike home a little more. Or asking it in this way will gain a little more of an emotional response rather than the tatemae, like kind of face value, this is my interview answer kind of answer. Or asking this question after having this conversation will yield a much deeper result than just saying, hey, what's blah, 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 blah. So a lot of these interviews, I will actually start after just taking some time to like get to know the person a little bit and sharing, struggles, failures, ups, downs, our favorite things. I always try and start it on something positive. I always try to show the excitement, how happy I am to see them and meet them. And then, ask them about like what some of the struggles of their day up until like meeting have been, and how they're feeling and everything like that. We have a couple laughs, a couple jokes. Everybody starts out nervous. Everyone's like, oh, I'm not going to be good at talking on camera. I was like, don't talk to the camera. Ignore the camera. I don't care about the camera. I was like, I'm going to be editing. And like, honestly, if we have a 30-minute interview, 4 minutes of it might make it into the video. And I'm only going to choose the stuff that represents you in the absolute best way. But I can't do that unless I know you. So let's just turn off the camera and take some time, get to know each other. Tell me a joke. And we kind of start by getting to know each other in that way. And so as we go up here, I'm still in the midst of catching up on all these wonderful super chats, but I hope that helped give a bit of an answer to you in there. And Spam Bacon Sausage and Spam says, thanks for showing us these remote locations. It means the world. Thank you so much for being here for it. Having a couple people in the chat and getting to know you guys along the way has made it so much more fun. As I said before, over the years, I've always kind of done these walks on my own. A lot of them were just morning walks or scouting for videos. And really all I've done is started bringing you guys along, and having you guys to chat with has made it a lot safer, because then bears don't come. And it's a lot more fun. So thank you. And Patricia in here saying, hey Norm, oops. Oh no, I lost it. Patricia, I'm gonna scroll back and I'm gonna find your comment. Be patient with me for a second. Oh, it is a while back there. There we go. Hi Norm, I'm planning a trip to explore from, oh, why did I lose it again? Okay, every time I let go of my finger on the screen, it just zips away. I won't let go this time. There we go. From Nagoya to Magome and around the area, your video of the Nakasendo Trail is one of my favorites. Honestly, that was one of my favorites too. Just one of my favorite walks in my entire life. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it that much. Thank you so much for keeping that super chat ball rolling. And Jabin Tohill, I hope I said that right, saying, love your videos, man. Have you ever thought about coming to New Zealand? I would love to do that. I would love to see you share parts of New Zealand like you do in Japan. That would be spectacular. That would definitely be a TOKYOLENS Explore video. And Sophia in here again saying, I think that is the best way to be honest. Thank you for answering. Again, there's an entire video with Dogen on the channel about what we think is the best way to pick up Japanese along the way. I think I'm caught up on those super chats now. Thank you so much for all the kindness. We started up there and we made our way all the way down, all the way over there, down through the river. And now we're coming up this side of the village, and there's still so much more of the village to be seen. Australia has amazing places too. You'll need to come here as well. I actually already have 2 videos on the main channel in Australia. Most people don't realize. And they're back-to-back videos that are meant to be watched in order. And they came with some sacrifice that was very, very worthwhile. You see, I was so excited to be in Australia. It was one of my lifelong dreams that when I got there, I stayed up basically all night to make this video. And I released the video, went to sleep for something like an hour and a half, and then woke up in the morning, did our job, and I guess a bunch of people in Australia, I was in Melbourne at the time, Brisbane, I was in Brisbane, saw the video, came out to our event because the Shamisen girls, Kiki, were doing a live performance. We got to meet, and then one of them handed me a skateboard and said, do you want to skateboard Australia with me? Our flight was at something like 9 or 10 in the morning, which means we're going to need to leave at 5 or 6. I was like, it has been my lifelong dream to come to Australia. Why would I waste it sleeping? And so I stayed up all night skateboarding through Australia, and it was fantastic. We've got a very similar signboard right here if you want to read, and you can actually get past all the vines. You can screenshot that and come back to it. And as soon as we get into the daytime, one of the major kind of, aside from farming, one of the major industries in this area is road work and forestry. And so you'll have 90-year-old men in the forests. And I have a story about, I think he was like 94 or something, I can't remember. Forest worker that I'll share with you guys in a second. But yeah, skateboarded through the night, caught my flight in the morning, passed out on the train, and that was my... And then as soon as I got back, I uploaded the second half of the video. So if you're from Australia and you want to see me childishly reacting to Australia for the first time, like a happy little kid just like running around like an idiot, it's in there. It's in there. It is full of energy and excitement. And yeah, like I can now say I spent 3 days in Australia and slept something like an hour and a half, 2.5 hours, and it was so worth it. It also kind of showed me that, you know, what you can do when time is limited. Like, you know, in a short span of time, I can go without sleep. I can enjoy the moment and then catch up on sleep after. You know, when I came back to Japan, it was going to be what? Unpacking, a day of computer work, you know, maybe editing some shamisen videos. Oh my God, yeah, I'll push all that back a day. And as we get up onto this side, how is the signal doing? I'm very curious if it's all holding up, because I never expected this area to actually have any signal, and thought for sure that this was going to need to be a pre-recorded 4K walk. Look at this. Also, seeing as this walk from one side of Ochiai to the other, seeing as this is something that I have wanted to do ever since I stumbled upon this place, for us to be able to do it together for the first time is quite significant and exciting for me. And look at this view here, just K-truck on the side of a mountain. Just like that. All right, all the botanists out there, can you tell me what kind of plant this is? Any ideas? There are lots of onion plants around here. There's a ton of them. These ones are not onions. I don't think I'll ever tire of this walk. I've got so much driving to do today that I just want to stay out here forever. But I hate to break the sad side of things, but we are on to the last couple days, guys. These are the last few days of the adventure. And one of the main production of this area is actually tobacco. And I've never seen a tobacco plant, but like in person, but if my memory serves me right, the leaves are slightly bigger than that. But today's the beginning of day 9. Let's continue up this way a bit. Today's the beginning of day 9 of 1 million seconds traveling through Japan, which again, when I came up with the idea, it was like in Japanese in my head, you know, 100万秒日本旅. And it was so much better at that time. Like I liked it in Japanese, but 1 million seconds traveling across Japan is just such a long thing. Like 1M tag, I don't know, that just sounds really dumb too. But this is day 9, and 1 million seconds accounts to 11 and a half days. 11 and a half days. And we're coming to the end of that, which means this is likely going to be one of our final live streams. Now, on that, today I'm going to be driving out of Shikoku and heading back to the main island of Japan. We've already done Awaji Island, so I'm going to skip past Awaji Island, and we will not be going to any major locations. No Osakas, no Kyotos, none of that. So with that being said, both in the chat right now and in the comments section after, please leave me what you think is a cool hidden gem that you would love to see me walk around. Pick a town. Just hit Google for the day. Just play around for 10, 20 minutes on Google Maps. Zoom into a whole bunch of little towns in the mountains. Find one that you think, this would be nice to see. And let me know. Over on the Patreon side of things, We're doing an entire series of how to explore Japan like Tokyo Lens and find hidden spots. And honestly, one of the best is just zooming into Google on areas that you don't know and just poking down, dropping pins, Street View, Google Photos now, all of that. And we're not heading towards Hiroshima or Kyushu. That is the opposite direction towards Tokyo. I've only got 2 days to make it back to Tokyo itself. And then I am going to be heading off to the US, North Carolina for Animazement, followed by Toronto, then Amsterdam, London, a small stop off in Singapore that I won't really have time to do anything with, but then Australia. And so the schedule is packed as soon as I get back, so I need to be ready for that. So guys, do me a favor, leave your thoughts in the comments as soon as this video goes live. We are down to the last 3 or so days of this. 3 or 4 days. We're coming down the second half of the mountain in terms of this adventure. To all of you who have hung out and spent this day with us and enjoyed this beautiful town of Otsuai, thank you so much for joining. And you know, I will see you again real soon. It'd be crazy if I didn't do a secret ending one of these days and we just like kept going. We're just like, boom! I just actually like, I ended it. Just done. Didn't even see it. Everyone would be so shocked. I feel like people would be offended. I feel like it would hurt people's feelings. Also, if you're new and you're just casually viewing, do me a favor. It costs you absolutely nothing to give that subscribe button some love, and it means the absolute world to me. I'd love to push this channel up to the 100K mark in the next couple of weeks. Just have that exciting adventure together as well. So also, where should we go next time? I'm getting a lot of Kyushu. I think a lot of people just want us to go down and do one of these adventures in Kyushu. Okay, we're gonna end it now. Bye. What a terrible ending that would be. We're gonna end it now. Bye. Oh, I love the flowers along here as well. Every single time I see flowers, I just pretend to end the live stream. Oh, that was dangerous. I was looking up at the flowers and didn't look down and almost went in the stream. It's not even raining today and I would have had wet, soggy shoes for absolutely no reason. That truly would have just been such a... Just kidding. It wouldn't have been as fun as it sounds. Especially on like a colder, cooler morning. So there we are. You know, Sherry is moving to Tokyo today, as we covered earlier. And I genuinely wanted to just grab her on this trip, toss her in the camper van, and bring her back to Tokyo along with us. But aside from the fact that that thing is definitely not made, well, I guess if you're tiny, 2 people could sleep in it. It's definitely not made for that. Also, it's a lot of time on the road, and like camper van every single day is a lot. That thing has 2 levels, so you can have like somebody down at the base and then set up kind of a sleeping part up above. But if you've got a kind of, if you need to go to the washroom or something in the night, then one person has to step on the other person's head. So you can do 2 level inside of that camper van, which is just fantastic. I love that. You'd want the lighter person sleeping at the top, you know, center of gravity being what it is and all that. But it is a spectacular little camper van. But Sherry had already gotten her ticket to Tokyo and started sending her stuff when we did this entire adventure. So anything she couldn't bring along with her, she just kind of packed into a giant bag and handed me. She's like, here, bring this back for me. I will meet you in Tokyo when you get there. So that is kind of how it played out. And we continue this journey entirely solo as we go. What a journey it's been so far. What an incredible walk this morning. What an incredible trip this morning. Honestly, please don't forget to drop me something in the comments. I'd love to hear, maybe in the mainland between the areas of Osaka and Tokyo, something in there. I'd love to hear where you would love to go. And you're right. Yes, all art, not solo. I have you guys. I appreciate that. Okay, guys. Here we go. Did you buy it that time? Did you think it was really gonna end? No? Okay. How about this time? Did I get you this time? I feel like I got a few people that time. Like I feel like we got it. I feel like we pulled off a real secret ending this time. And then like just those of you who know are still here. And I love you for that. I absolutely love you for that. Oh my God. Aiken in here. Aiken, how have you been? Fantastic to see you in here. Thanks for showing us these beautiful remote locations. Have you seen any Shikoku-ken, the national heritage dog of Shikoku? No, I have not. But thank you for asking. Thank you for the last minute 11th hour super chat in there. As things like wrap up. Wow. I mean, I had changed screens thinking I only caught the end of a live stream, and then, yep, that's right. Those who know, know. Sometimes the secret ending, sometimes the real ending to the secret ending is not the ending. So, I don't want to fall off the edge here because that's entirely possible. But I do want to end with some beauty. Honestly, nothing but love and gratitude to you guys. I will see you within 24 hours for one of our final live streams. Which means yes, I will see you again real soon.